Thank you, folks.
Woo!
Welcome to Hempstock Hemp Festival. Are you ready for 420?
Woo!
You guys are ready for 420 now? Hey, T-minus 45 minutes here. We're almost time. You know what? We have to stop the lies about cannabis. It causes so much suffering in this world. So many of our brothers and sisters are in jail. You know, Marc Emery, we got his picture right up here. There's Roger Christie, a reverend who is doing religious work in Hawaii. He's being held without bail. They're saying he's never been arrested for cannabis before or anything. He's 61 years old. They're saying he's a danger to the community, and they won't let him out on bail, and they're holding him until next April for a trial. It'll probably be after that. But Eddy Lepp has spoken on this stage many times. He's being held for 10 years. So we gotta let our people go, you know, in marijuana prohibition. About 32 years ago, I went to a rally that was much like this one, right in front of the White House. It was the White House smoke-in, organized by the Yippies and Dana Beal. That got me motivated and involved in the movement. About 30 years ago, I was Washington State Normal Coordinator and helped organize the state. And about 1984, I moved from Washington, Oregon to help the Oregon Marijuana Initiative. And we put an initiative on the ballot. We lost pretty overwhelmingly. But in '84 as well, Jack Hare moved to Oregon from Los Angeles. And he put together his book while working on the marijuana initiative in Portland, The Emperor Wears No Clothes. And he gave one of his last speeches here last year in the heat of the day. But you know, Jack's book basically catalyzed us all, changed us all. And Jack's book motivated untold scores of people to get out there and work for global cannabis freedom and restore industrial hemp. This book brought the whole picture into focus about hemp and cannabis. You know, now we know and can see marijuana catalyzed me. Marijuana motivates me. And I studied Chinese for a couple years and went to school in China and started importing hemp fabric and hemp paper back in the early 90s and had a company, Tree Free Eco Paper, sold hemp paper. I started and continue to produce a live weekly television show, Cannabis Common Sense, plays on cable here in the Northwest. And I also started and today run THCF, the Hemp and Cannabis Foundation. And in addition to being the sponsors here, perhaps most importantly, THCF has helped almost 150,000 people all across the United States, from Detroit, Michigan and Marquette, Michigan, out to Kapa'a, Hawaii and Honolulu, become legal medical marijuana patients, where they can legally possess, use, and grow their medicine. But you know what? It goes much deeper than this. Cannabis hemp is deeper than its incredibly long taproot. Marijuana's deep. You know, cannabis hemp catalyzed human civilization itself. Marijuana jump-started human civilization. All archaeologists agree that cannabis was among the first crops purposely grown by people. Over 12,000 years ago, people began growing hemp, and its cultivation spread from the high Himalayas of Tibet and Nepal and Pakistan and Kashmir. And it spread down to the valleys of the Yellow River Valley in China, the Wanghe Valley, and to the Tigris-Euphrates Valley in Iraq, to the cradles of agriculture. You know, marijuana could very well be the whole reason that our ancestors gave up hunting and gathering and started agricultural settlements so they could have their stash. You know, I believe that cannabis is the most sacred gift from the Creator to us, humanity. Cannabis is the holiest of the holy gifts from our Mother Earth. Every part of cannabis hemp is highly useful for the diverse multitude of our needs and the needs of human civilization. There's only one plant capable of taking care of most of human civilization's needs, and that's marijuana. When we restore marijuana to its rightful place and industrial hemp to its rightful place in our economy, we're going to see marijuana fuel. And a great deal of our fuel and energy needs are going to be made from the seeds of marijuana. Marijuana seed oil run any diesel engine. The marijuana stems produce most of our fiber, can produce most of our fiber for clothing, paper, building materials, and it can wipe out deforestation and stop a great deal of our pollution. Hemp seeds produce more and healthier oil and protein. Hemp protein and oils are rich in the essential fatty acids, or the EFAs, that our brain and cardiovascular system need. Marijuana seeds make omega-3, 6, and 9 in the perfect ratio for human health. And hemp protein from marijuana seeds makes all 8 of the amino acids that our body needs, again, in just the right ratio for human health. When marijuana seed oil ages and goes rancid, it's no longer useful for a food, but it's a productive biodiesel fuel. You can take that oil, pour it right into any diesel engine, and it's going to run it with no conversions, the engine or the fuel. And you can synthesize it into gasoline and plastic, and anything petroleum can make. It's not only healthy for us, it can solve our world energy problems and wipe out a lot of pollution. The hemp stalks, the stems, are the most productive source of fiber on earth, making 10 tons of bast fiber for canvas, rope, lace, and linen, and 25 tons of hurd fiber for paper and building materials per acre. Way back in 1916, the United States Department of Agriculture put out a bulletin 404, said a waste product for making canvas, rope, lace, and linen from hemp. That waste product makes 4 times more paper than the most productive tree species. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, back there in World War II, put out a video called Hemp for Victory. They showed farmers how to reintroduce hemp. It's available on YouTube. And that's just the seeds and the stems. You know, we need these seeds and the stems. Don't throw them away. But then we have the flowers. Hemp flowers make human brain chemicals, or neurotransmitters, and medicines that help fight cancer, multiple sclerosis, neurodegenerative diseases, gastrointestinal disorders, relieves pain, helps glaucoma, stops seizures and spasms, and restores balance in the body, restores homeostasis. The flowers of hemp will also make you laugh, make you feel good, and relieve depression, post-traumatic stress, and anxiety. I truly believe that hemp is our Mother Earth's greatest gift to humanity. You know, the forces of ignorance, evil, and darkness are afoot. The laws against marijuana are just plain wrong. Marijuana prohibitions and conspiracy from the wealthy of this world to feed us poisonous petrochemical products. When we legalize marijuana, hemp will create an untold multitude of jobs and return economic control to the people. No more wars for petroleum when we start to use hemp again. Instead, hemp can lead the way to economic and ecological sustainability and help save the remnants of our biosphere's precious heritage for future generations and the 7th generation and beyond. You know, right now, cannabis freedom is dawning with votes across the West. California's Prop 19 is a groundbreaking step to legalize possession and cultivation and allow a small amount of herb and allow its sale. Oregon's medical marijuana dispensary ballot will create jobs and help patients. And then in Arizona and South Dakota, they're going to allow medical marijuana in a vote. So in closing, I just want to say that we have to stop the drug war before they kick in your door. We got to work together to legalize marijuana. For those facing execution for anti-cannabis laws in Malaysia and elsewhere, you got to work for global cannabis freedom. For those languishing in jails and prisons, for the anti-cannabis laws out there everywhere, We got to work for global cannabis freedom, for our forests and the web of life, and our Mother Earth, which suffers from the extraction and poisoning of our environment. We got to work for global cannabis freedom, and for economic and political justice. We got to work for global cannabis freedom, for our brothers and sisters and all that have fallen before us, like Jack Hare, Tod Mikuriya, so many of us. We got to work for global cannabis freedom. Cannabis, hemp, marijuana, I believe, is truly the healing of the nations. So let our people grow. Restore hemp. Hemp for victory. Thanks for having us.